This is the November 10th, 2021 meeting of the Village of Millbrook Board of Trustees. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Sarah, can you do a roll call of trustees?
Mayor Cowley?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Herzog?
Here.
Trustee Contino? Here. Trustee Arcas?
Here.
Trustee Anson? Here.
Okay, thank you. I'm happy to say that there's no need for a period of silence tonight. Tomorrow's Veterans Day. There's a ceremony at 11 o'clock at the VFW, adjacent to Lyle. And you're all welcome to attend. Mike, there's a special presentation, I believe, by the high school.
Yes, the high school students created a mural, a very large one that's going to be mounted inside the commander's commanding post. And that's the reason for the switch in venue from typically the village green up the street to there so they can do the unveiling.
Yeah.
And, I just wanted to make sure that the public at large was prepared, because I know we're going to get some people at 11 o'clock tomorrow standing there, because we're doing it on the green for years. But it's just a switch in venue. The ceremony is on.
And maybe we should make a round down that way as we head up toward the ceremony.
Well,
Maybe I'll walk down there just to see if anyone's down there.
yeah, and I would.
Because the ceremony is only going to be at the VFW.
It's only going to be at the VFW, and people might be confused and say, I know there was a ceremony, but it's always here. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure we don't miss people.
Okay, good point. Okay, Sarah, you want to give an update on what's going on with the videotaping of the meetings? Since every meeting we always change it, so what's the latest?
Well, we're still working with our webcam here, Mevo. We did that last week. We just weren't able to live stream it. We are currently live streaming on YouTube, and it seems to be successful.
Good.
So,
All right. So YouTube streaming is good because at least people at home can watch it. Unfortunately, they're not able to interact with us. This is different from Zoom. The other thing we're trying to do is put the microphone quality improved. Howard? You? So Sarah, for that, we're actually trying to use the app to the phones as microphones for the trustees and the audio.
Yes.
For the broadcast.
Yeah.
For those of us who have iPhones, that's good. For me, obviously, probably. Okay, good. Next, minutes. So, Sarah submitted the draft of the minutes of the meeting of the last month's meeting. Any questions, comments, or changes requested for the minutes she posted?
No.
Can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make that.
In a second?
Second.
All those in favor? So just as everyone knows, as heads up, what we're doing now is Sarah is probably within the week of the meeting posting a draft version of the minutes. So it's online, available for everyone to look and see. We don't approve it until the following meeting. The idea though is just to get something in front of the public as soon as possible as a summary of what was discussed at the board meeting. Okay? All right, next is the voucher approval. I had to pick up on my computer, so I've got a hard copy this month. Just FYI. So for vouchers, we have a total of $170,564.72. That includes $146,990 from the general fund, $16,920 from the water fund, and $6,653 from the sewer fund. Any questions about the vouchers, given that the trustees and the department heads have seen the detail provided by Nicole this week? No. To the department heads, any issues you see in the reports that you've gotten so far regarding performance to date? Any questions or concerns there? I did ask Sarah and Karen to put together a mid-year report. So next month, December, we perform the first 6 months of the calendar year, June to November. Although we're going to go work on the numbers and see if it's more appropriate to do it in January versus December, it's going to be their call to let us know. But I do want to submit a mid-year report how we're doing financially. Okay. When I look into the numbers, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. There are some things where we have to move some money from one account to another, but Sarah and Nicole will work on that. So if there's no exceptions, make a motion to accept the vouchers.
I'll make
And a
that motion.
second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is the asset management status. Sarah showed me a very nice folder that's been put together, summarizing all, actually showing the detail of the reports by all the different areas. We do need the fire department. There's still one that we still need to get back, Ted, so if you can feed that back to Mike Matt, I'd appreciate it. But from what I've seen so far, it's a very nice piece of work. And it's exactly what we're looking for, which is basically headlights to the trustees as we embark on next year's budget of what kind of major assets are going to be needed replaced in the next few years. And then also their planning as far as replacement, and even, I think, Vicki, you suggested one time, maybe some thoughts in terms of consolidating some needs and going for some funding to support the replacement of some of these assets.
Consolidating them and just knowing where to look for
Right.
funding, because we know what needs to anticipate.
Yeah,
I mean, there are already several risks that the inventory show for next year.
that's right. So anyway, I think it's a really nice piece of work. If you haven't seen the folder, it's there in the office, and I think it was really well done.
Sarah really did a great job.
Yeah.
And the departments did an incredible job.
Yeah, so a nice piece of work. And what I like is it's not, a long list of stuff. Everyone's just less than a half of a page, which is what we want, because that's something we can actually work on. And we'll be using that over and over as we go through the budget process. So thanks for your contributions there, and I appreciate it. Okay, department reports. So let's start off with Deirdre is here. I want to know if she's got an update to provide us.
Something quick.
I'll just keep on you.
I can see where I am. It's no microphone, right?
Well, there's no microphone for the speakers?
I mean, this will pick it up.
Okay.
That's just, it's more visual.
Well, actually, you'll be better if you went there so the camera can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
We want you on camera.
Deirdre Hobson, County Legislator. I just wanted to check in on you guys tonight. I don't really have anything major, as you probably are all aware with the calendar. As a county legislator, I am knee-deep into budget season for the county budget. We've announced some tax savings, but we're really knee-deep into the budget now. We've had 2 budget sessions and reviewing with each department head from the county, and we have 2 more coming up. So that's really where all of our time is being spent right now. I know I've had a ton of people question me about the election results, and I know that the village is good, but the town is going to come down to absentee ballots, and I believe the village and the town absentees will be counted on Wednesday.
Oh, is that right?
From today, they're starting, I think, at 10, going till 5. They don't have, that I have seen yet, like a breakdown of what time each town is going. I don't really know if they'll do that because a lot of the races are really, really close. I know the 3 towns I represent, Pleasant Valley, Town of Washington, and Amenia, they're all coming down to absentee.
So the absentee ballots, Washington is always at the end of the county. You're saying next Wednesday they'll count Washington?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Here's in the county alphabetically, but I believe they moved it up into the queue because it is a tight race.
Oh, okay.
But the tight race is first.
All right, so next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, yes, they'll be counted. So hopefully we'll get the results, Wednesday night, Thursday.
Yeah, good.
But shouldn't be any later than that. So other than that, I really don't have a lot for you guys. If, I also came to hear if you need anything from me, and any way I can assist you guys, I'm happy.
Any questions for Deirdre?
Just one question. I know you're going through the budget process. Do you have kind of updated reports on the level of sales tax you've taken in the last 10 months to this point, or the last year compared to the same period last year?
So with 2020 being a real anomaly was because of the COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
We are really using our 2019 numbers as a comparison, and we are in fact up in sales tax. And I know the municipalities will be getting a check for some unexpected sales tax revenue that we received. And I can get you guys that number ASAP. Also in the county, we are proposing to eliminate, and we'll be voting on it, sales tax on clothing and footwear under $110. And that That was done back in the 80s and the 90s, and then it had stopped, and now we're looking to permanently reduce that tax because the internet, with the addition of the internet sales tax, we have gotten quite a bit of sales tax, so our numbers are up, is the short answer.
Sarah, we received the sales tax from the county, I thought not until like March or so, is that true? Or do we receive throughout the year?
Yeah,
Oh, we do?
yeah.
Oh, like how often?
I'm not sure off the top, maybe quarterly,
Yeah,
I
okay,
think.
all right.
Yeah,
I believe it is quarterly.
yeah, I think
Okay.
it is, yeah.
And but they're delayed, right? Like and the quarter ends for the sales tax, and then you guys will get it a month or 2
Yes.
months. It's not calendar quarter.
Sure.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, good, that'll help, a little bit helps.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to thank you for reporting the last time I learned create plans.
Yes.
Oh,
Because that was really useful. I've gotten a number of inquiries.
I'm sorry.
You reported last time on a grant that for not-for-profits that the county was doing. And so it created some interest in some of the local not-for-profits here. So I'm entered for getting that.
I just want to remind you that that ends at the end of the year. So, you know, if you have people who want to apply, the process is easy can grant applications can be, and I'm happy to, you know, forward to the link and just get going on it because it is going to close.
Thank you.
yeah, it's money the county made available for nonprofits who suffered, I think, during COVID with their fundraising ability, right?
Specific to youth.
Youth organization, nonprofits. So things like Girl Scouts and soccer teams, I think you mentioned, things like that.
Millbrook Hockey got some money.
Yeah.
The Northern Dutchess Raiders, although Pine Plains is taking credit, we all know it's a Millbrook team. They're headquartered in Pine Plains.
Oh,
So yes, some sports teams, Dutchess Land Conservancy received some money, Millbrook Library, so there's definitely good money awarded in this area.
okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, you're,
I have
Okay,
just
Ted?
98 for my district, I think 140.
you're up it?
But that's not balanced, that's not.
57.
As of
Town
when?
question.
As of when?
Today,
Okay, 57.
57.
So Deirdre, I'll just keep you on the agenda, if you show up, you guys can stay fine, if you want to show up, that's fine.
Perfect.
How's that?
Yeah, I try to come every time.
Whatever you can do. Thanks. Okay, Ted?
Good evening.
Evening.
I don't know, so with the new meeting format, you don't display the reports like you did, right? There's no screen that you bring up or anything like that?
No, we've done it for a while, no.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I knew with the
Yeah,
Zoom,
okay, so,
I knew with the Zoom you were trying to.
for everyone in the audience, so all the charts are loaded on the website, under the Zoom icon, just like we've been doing for the last 6
Okay.
months.
So you can reference them.
So you can reference those of us who want to make a hard copy can. I've been using my computer until today, I had a computer problem, other than that. So
Okay.
there's one place to get at it.
I was just curious if everyone was had.
No, so there's no screen to show.
Okay. So total incidents for October were 85. It was a pretty busy month. 25 automatic alarms, 44 EMS calls, 6 motor vehicle accidents, 1 PD assist, 2 structure fires, 1 appliance fire, 1 hazmat call, 2 wires down, 1 vehicle fire, a furnace malfunction, and a carbon monoxide alarm. The NDP paid unit went out 55 times. The volunteer ambulance responded once. The members responded 19 times to assist. We went mutual aid to other districts for fire calls 6 times and for EMS 15. And we had EMS mutual aid come in once. That was a second call in the district scenario where our ambulance did respond and they had a mutual aid paramedic unit. And we did not have any mutual aid received for fire calls this month. Don't really have much else to report on. The utility vehicle that we purchased, we were able to get a trailer for it. We had ordered a trailer, and I don't recall who the manufacturer was, but the vendor ended up returning our check to us because they didn't have any in production and they couldn't fill the order. So we ended up going to another vendor and they were able to get us a similar trailer at a slightly reduced cost, so it actually worked out better. So that's delivered, and we are waiting for an estimate for graphics and lettering on both units, and we'll have that in the next month or so.
Good. How's the work on the roof estimate?
That was the next thing. We met with Ed Lodi last week, and he has a completed drawing of plan of the building with the scope of the project, the area of materials that's going to be needed to go with the bid package, and he's going to get with Sarah to put the bid package together. I expressed to him that we are looking to start work no later than April 1st. We would like to start by April 1st. I'm willing to go to the 15th because I want to get work in progress before the end of the budget year.
Good.
It's easier for all of us, the village and the fire department, to get bookkeeping done within the, because I know you guys have budgeted for the first payment for this year. So
That's right.
I want to make sure there's work in progress by that point.
Okay, good.
So he said that based on what he's seen with bid, the term of the bid that has to go out for various projects he's working on and material availability for other projects, he says that he doesn't think that'll be a problem. He doesn't foresee any issues with that. So we should be able to have the bid out and back and awarded by March and be ready to go to work in April based on, as long as material availability stays where it's at now.
Now, you guys are gonna take care of the bid process, I mean, Sarah's gonna help you as far as the
Yep.
thing, I mean, the bid goes to you, you guys open it, decide which one.
Well, it's a village building, so it'll be open at the board meeting like we do for fire apparatus.
So we will be there for the opening of it.
It'll be at a village board meeting.
I see, okay.
The bids have to come back to the village.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's
fine.
basically the same kind of process we go through for apparatus.
All right, fine, okay,
But with a shorter term, it comes at the bid open as well.
all right. You wanna talk about the mutual aid issue or not?
Just that we've gotten information, I spoke with Tim, we've gotten some data back from the county about the number of times over the past 3 years that our paid ambulance unit has responded out of the district, which we're trying to address the number of times that it's going outside the district, because, based on complaints both from my members and some from the public as well about the frequency with which the ambulance leaves the district. So obviously, we're paying a lot of money for it, so we'd like it to stay here.
Yeah, right. And actually, I looked at your data, your monthly reports are very nice, year to date. We go out 3 times more than we receive.
Oh, by far, yeah, easily. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's just not the Unionville, but Unionville is a big contributor to that. And I had a discussion with the supervisor, and they have a fire district, which is a standalone entity versus us being, the fire district is within the village, we contract with the town. But so they have a standalone fire district, and they are now looking for options to increase their paid coverage. Because they have volunteers and they have paid, and they're not able to satisfy the demands of within the town of Unionville with their current setup. And as Ted said, we end up providing more mutual aid to them than we would like to do. So that's an issue going on in discussion. I'm going to follow up with Betsy Moss as the supervisor just to make sure they keep focus on it. So thanks for your heads up on that.
Yep.
Any other questions for Ted?
Thank you.
Thanks. Ted, are you going to stick around for the discussion when we still talks about Cradle Lights?
I was afraid you were going to ask that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, you're good, thanks. Okay, Officer Whip.
Good evening, everyone. October 2021 report, we had a total of 157 incidents reported. The incident numbers are listed there. Traffic-wise, 6 traffic tickets, 10 parking tickets, 1 property damage auto accident, 3 hit-and-run accidents, 1 injury accident, 5 disabled vehicles, 3 road hazards, and 8 vehicle and traffic complaints. We assisted other agencies, state police twice, sheriff's office 3 times, the fire department 12, EMS 10 times, additional government agency once. We assisted the school district with 5 times, including lockdown drills, fire drills, and evacuation drills. And we completed 2 court nights for the town of Washington. As for police activity for the month of October, it was 1 arrest, 1 assault, 1 obstruction of breathing, 1 counterfeit, 1 fight, 5 disorderly conducts or disturbances, 4 trespasses, 2 criminal mischiefs, 2 harassments, 1 littering, 1 loitering, 2 orders of protection were issued, and we had 2 incidents with unattended juveniles, which seems to be, well, if you remember some of the things that went on this past summer, a lot of this is having to do with these groups of unattended juveniles out at night. They're usually between the ages of about 13 to 16, 17, and they're out until 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, just wandering around and falling prey to their.
Are these the same people we've been talking about, or are these different people?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, some of the same individuals are involved, and then there's others that are involved also. These weren't necessarily police incidents, but they were enough that it warranted our attention to try to correct this, so we don't continue to have these problems.
Well, what can you do as a, you tell them
You
to go home?
can call the parents and make them come out and get them, but
That's all you do.
But with a certain number of, or a couple of groups of these juveniles, it doesn't matter. We call the parents, we call the guardians, they come out and they're out the next night. So the only other thing that could be done, and I don't know the legality of it, is possibly put a curfew into the village code for persons under 18, and then that way it would actually hold the parents legally responsible, and it might actually force some compliance from the parents.
Is that done elsewhere, do you know?
In New York, I don't know, but I see it often in vacation towns, coastal towns.
How about Highlands? Where you?
No, we don't have one down there, but we don't have a central
Oh,
district.
Central, you're right, okay.
You know, it's kind of a spread out town.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that would actually work, but it might be something to consider, just to curb some of this activity like we saw this summer.
Yeah, has there been any damage, like the summer we no damage?
No.
Okay, it's just not.
Nothing associated with that this time. Then again, it's colder out, they're not out as long.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
For public service, we had 1 suspicious activity, 1 mental health call, 8 burglar alarms, 2 hazardous conditions, 1 missing child who was located, 4 property complaints, 5 animal complaints, 2 FOIL requests, 3 welfare checks, a lockout, civil, and an other. As for community policing, Officer Aloisio did 3 car seat installs. We did 3 property checks where we found open doors to businesses or facilities. We completed 13 school checks, 20 foot patrols. We assisted citizens 3 times. I worked, the fire department invited me along for 2 of their safety presentations at the preschools, which went over very well. Lastly, we completed the Halloween detail without incident. No vandalism, we had a lost phone, was about all that happened on Halloween. It was fantastic.
Nice.
The last thing is Officer Aloisio is spearheading another charity drive this upcoming holiday season. And this year it's Hope on a Mission has been selected out of Poughkeepsie. And Hope on a Mission provides hot meals, personal hygiene supplies, and seasonally appropriate clothing and footwear for the homeless and or addicted men and women in the Dutchess County area. So that's the one we're doing our collection drive for this year. And some of the items that they're looking for: toothbrushes and toothpaste, body wash, shampoo, conditioners, razors, Ziploc baggies, full-size boxes of baby wipes and tissues, undergarments for both men and women, and some snack foods, assorted non-perishable snack foods. No nuts and no granola, but basically, I assume we'll take just about anything that.
It's what they take everything in and they kind of divvy it up into bags or something. And
That I'm not quite sure. I'm sure they have I don't. Do you know much about it, or I see you nodding along over here with me?
They do package it, repackage it, and then
Repackage
give it
it.
to people
Okay.
as needed.
And the clerk has set up a nice little drop box at the village hall where we can collect it from now until December 20th, I think,
Okay.
was the date. We also are looking to possibly do kind of like boost it up during Parade of Lights, see if we can get people that are coming out to Parade of Lights to bring some stuff and have a big collection point during that, which I think will really help us out with that.
Now, the details are on your Facebook page, or the police Facebook page, or?
Yes, they are. I believe the village shared it too.
Okay.
So it's out there. We'll continue to put it out there another couple of times just to remind everybody.
All right.
And lastly, for the October, it's kind of November, but I was able to apply for a grant for some equipment through the Integrum training group. Applied for a grant for some firearms for us and some ammunition, which would be nice to offset our equipment budget and things like that. So kudos to the clerk. Last night she came back in and signed a couple of documents for us. Had to go to the office, but we got everything in during the deadline. And
That's why she was there late last night. Okay.
yeah, so we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope we get that. It seems very promising.
So Ingram, just so you recall, Ingram is the company we contacted to provide training for the police. And they've also got some insight, I think, into things like this equipment.
Yeah, he's one of the, Matt Colhane is very ear to the ground on a lot of these grants, and he knows a lot of grant writers, and he knows, he's knowledgeable in it. So we're hoping to be able to secure equipment and training and all sorts of stuff through some of these grants in the future to take a burden off of the budget. The only thing, you mentioned the expense report earlier. The only thing I see in mind is that our vehicle repairs are over budget at this point by about $200. But that's due to the one aging car we have.
We just spent $1,500 on that.
Yeah, and it's got to go back in for a
Drive gently.
most of it has nothing to do with the driving. It's
Most of it, because it just sits here, you drive a new one, what are we talking about? Of course, that's why.
I don't. It's actually everyone's preferred vehicle. It's the older one, but I wasn't able to attend the Parade of Lights meeting the other night because I was working another job. I have the update, the agenda, the schedule for that. So I'll review that. I see the biggest point for us is that we will provide traffic and closing the street control, which we've been doing for, how old's the meeting? 9 years, with the exception of last. So we got it down pat. It's basically the same approach as the fireman's parade. So we got that. Now you had also mentioned that you wanted me to briefly go over the status of where we're at with the police reform and modernization plan.
Good.
So I had it. I think we had a total of 12 points on here, and I think we're in the process or completed 10 of them. The first one was to compile a detailed annual report. That'll be done at the end of the year. We can't do that before then. The second one was to increase the training budgets and funds for this year. And as you mentioned, we contracted with the Integrum training group, so that's going to work out well for us. And so that's number 2 is taken care of. Number 3 was to establish a community review board, which has been established. So that's done. Number 4 was adoption of procedural justice practices, which we were already doing to begin with. So that is also done. Number 5 was to strive to increase diversity within the village police department and considering future candidates when hiring. So this year we are looking to fill a vacancy. So this year, for the first time, I've been here for 13 years, we had an open application period of a month, which is substantially longer than we have ever had. In that time frame, we received 9 applications, only two of which actually followed the instructions. So within the next week or two, I'll get those applications put together and let the board review them at face value with just the application and the resume, and we'll proceed from there.
All right, first just bring the meeting, let's you and I talk first, and then we'll just say if we have anybody worthy to bring to the board. How's that?
That's fine. Like I said, I wanted to try a new approach, this year, especially because we did it this way. We mentioned it in our plan, is to look at the qualifications and the credentials of the applicants without meeting them first.
Yeah, sure.
And really just kind of weed through it that way, and then move forward in the process from that. Let's see. Number 6 was the village board will provide more police information in the mailings, which we're doing. We've been working on with you and your monthly newsletters, or your quarterly newsletters.
Monthly.
Wow.
Are
they monthly?
The quarterly water bills.
Okay.
The monthly newsletter. Everyone knows the newsletter is monthly.
I don't get one, so.
You don't get one?
No, we don't get one.
Now you're gonna get 2.
Good. The number 7 is that the officers will complete anti-bias training. 3 out of 6 of us are complete, and Integrum is set to complete that with us, with the remaining officers in the near future. If not, we'll get together with the sheriff's office and their trainings. Number 8 was to schedule more out of the patrol car community policing, and as you've seen from the October report and some of the last ones over the few months, that we have been doing that. We're out doing more foot patrols.
I complimented Jared, Officer Witt, on the fact that one of his officers was caught sitting in Stewart's shooting the breeze with local patrons, which I thought was an excellent example of what I think policing ought to be. I think it's really good to see him just sitting there talking face to face with normal people. Patrol car was on the street, ready to go if needed, but he was in there just passing the time of day. I think it was just great. So, well done.
Thank you.
More of that kind of stuff I think is good.
Number 9 was to review the policies and procedures. Still waiting.
Let's keep waiting. Move on.
Okay.
Go.
Well, it's in the works. The deputy mayor and I will get it done. The plan is for the end of 22, so we still have some time left on that. Number 10 was review village code as it applies to signage, speed limits, parking restrictions, and enforceable offenses. Working with Trustee Arbogast and Contino with that. We actually met for close to an hour and a half today, and we're plugging away through that little by little.
What's your outlook? How long was that going to take? Is that a long thing? Is that going to be something
I think we can get it done probably with probably 2 more meetings. So we could definitely have it wrapped up by the end of this calendar year.
Okay. All right.
At least to move forward with.
Now, I guess I'm going to jump the gun. We're talking about that plus the water and sewer, and also I made a proposal regarding streets and sidewalks. I would like to get those all together at the same time. Because I don't want to go through 3 different passes, like to get them all together at once and go through the whole, public hearing, all that kind of stuff as one big package.
So do you have a date in mind for that? Because we could just double down and get it done.
Let's wait and see.
I got holiday seasons coming up here.
Yeah. So tell you the truth, I'm not so worried about getting it done like right away. Although I would like to see water and sewer before Leslie leaves us. But I mean, other than that, I'm not in a big rush to get it. I'm just more in terms of trying to make sure we all come together at once.
Well, I mean,
to minimize the cost of us going through the process of updating the code.
I mean, the one that we're working on now is once it's done, it can sit there till you're ready. Like it's not a screaming rush. It's a lot.
Yeah, I don't.
It's technicalities and taking out old wording. Like it's a one-way street to the utility pole on the Edwards property. Like it's things like that.
Sure.
Where it just needs to be changed to this parcel number or this.
Yeah, I'm more interested in getting it all together and bring it forward as one big package. Do you think that's okay?
Yeah. I think that we just have one more meeting to get through it, and then we just have to go back in another meeting to tighten it up.
Yeah, I say I'm not in a rush. Don't rush it. Right. I just want to make sure that Mike and Leslie can do their thing with Scott before you're on before she leaves. That's what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
So other than that, that's fine.
Number 11 was investigate the feasibility of automatic cameras set up in high traffic areas to detect speeding violations. We ended up moving away from cameras and we're going with just the speed signs.
Yeah, good.
That also collect data. They have been ordered. What do we got? Probably another 3 weeks before they arrive. It was 6 weeks from order date. So we're a couple more weeks
So
out.
by year end, we should be able to put those, implement those, and
Yes.
good, that's great.
And then again, we got the higher mobility ones so they can be moved
Yeah.
more easily.
Great.
And then the last one was explore the cost of body cameras for initial purchase, but storage and cost afterwards. And that's trustee Argaz. That's not really.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, I guess I would say that we saw from the county an attempt to try to group all the requirements together, and we're expecting the county to kind of go forward and see whether or not there's a feasibility here or not. Is that still true? I saw an email from the supervisor.
What I can tell you, what I can tell you is during the budget review of undersheriff or acting sheriff or Ryan's budget review, I asked specifically about body cams, and the county is doing a lease for their own road patrol and specialty units. They have a lease for 65 units.
Oh, is that right?
I don't know anything about what they're doing for shared services.
So I'll say my preference would be, let's let the county do it, try it out, see how it goes, and then we'll go talk about it. Because that's a big step. When I think about,
That'll be a larger expense, not necessarily. I mean, there's grants out there for the initial purchase, but that's not really where the expense.
data storage, management, migration.
And then additionally, the work that'll put on me with the new discovery laws that were passed last year or the year before, any of these interactions I have with the state police, I now have to get that video and provide to them for any arrest or any of that after that. So I'll spend a lot more time. You're gonna have a financial burden from me, additionally, from collecting and producing and editing, not editing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
You know, removing sensitive information or, from things to.
I guess before I get to the concerns that you've got, I've got a lot of concerns of my own up front. Let's wait and see.
Absolutely.
So this thing shows the end of 2021 to evaluate. Let's push that off.
Right, and this was a plan,
Yeah, sure.
you know,
Okay.
so that's where we're at.
So the fact that trustee doesn't know anything, or guest doesn't know anything about this is good. I really don't know.
No, that's not true. I didn't hear what he said. That's good. That's awesome.
So on the general outlook at the 12 points, I think we're right on task, right on point, and maybe.
Good update. Any questions about that?
No, just a comment that during the whole, I don't want to call them hearings, but all the meetings we had going back to the modernization, it was well established that until we can see some hard data from other local police units that, are the same size as us, and some hard data on exactly what the storage fees are gonna be, then it's ridiculous to go ahead and try to commit to something without any idea what fiscally what it'll be. And when I brought it up to Mark Molinaro during our discussions, he acknowledged the fact that yes, we have to get more data because of the fact that it's easy to go out and buy cameras when you have to start talking about storing everything on the cloud and having it accessible, and then when you come to the discovery parts of it, and a lawyer for a defendant says, oh, you gotta stop, I want the video, and you've gotta have someone go back, locate the video, and then answer questions through the judicial department of how long we have to keep these videos and have them on hand. We could be talking about a tremendous amount of money, and there's a whole lot more don't know than there is about do know.
Okay, so let's not spend more time on this. Let's move on. What else you got?
That's it for me. I'm just here
Any
to
questions for us?
field the questions now. Oh, I do have one more for the lawyer. We're updating the parking and traffic code for the village. The village has put in, over the past 2 or 3 years, has put in 4 handicap spaces on the street on Merritt Avenue. Does that need to be added to the code itself, or does the markings and signage, is that enough?
ordinarily you should update your code if.
I mean, we're in the process of it, we just wanna know if that's something we should put in, or is it okay enough with just the markings and the signage?
I mean, it's a potential problem if you just update the markings and the signage. If anyone were to check, to look in the code and see that, you know, if they get a ticket.
I assume that if it's in the code, it's enforceable. If it's not in the code, it could be.
Correct.
Okay.
We'll put it in the.
That's what we figured
Okay.
That's unfortunate, it just says that every time we want to go make an update, it's basically not enforceable until we go and change the local law.
Yeah, because you can't enforce a law that doesn't exist.
Yeah. So, but there's no way that you can put in there the code, spaces that are marked as handicap spaces. You can't park unless you're handicapped. I don't know. In other words, as opposed to saying, here's the 4 spaces that exist, you say, when we mark something as handicap parking, here's what it means.
I don't know. My response would be it's relatively easy. I realize you've got to do it by local law.
Well, it's the same thing Ian, is crosswalks. I'd rather, as opposed to listing, here's the 13 places in the village that have crosswalks, I'd rather say a crosswalk means the pedestrian has the right of way unless you're at a traffic light. And that's how we honor it. And that allows us to go off in the middle of the year and say, oh, we need a crosswalk here, put it. And as soon as we put it there, it's enforceable.
Well, that would probably apply to pretty much everything in the traffic provisions.
Okay. I'd like to do it that way if that's possible.
That's an answer. I don't know that we can get to that as an answer.
What do you?
Because it's stop signs, it's yield signs, if the yield sign can mean yield.
Same thing. I mean, if I have a stop sign means this. I should be able to put a stop sign wherever I deem it necessary.
Yeah, the signage is a little bit
months.
different because you may need DOT approval for some of that, but.
That was on the village road, I know. Right?
In any case, you know, if you're doing things without the authority to do that, meaning.
No, I'm saying put the wording in the code that allows us to have the authority the flexibility to
Delegate
extend.
to who? To head of the police department, or I don't know the answer. I have to look into it.
Okay, please do.
I mean, you're basically getting to like the credit card policy. The code reads, there is a credit card policy that's reviewed annually on Schedule A.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have to change the credit card policy by local law each year. You're changing the schedule. That's
That's similar.
kind of what you're getting.
It's a little more definitive because it just says, you know, there are certain things in traffic that everyone recognizes. And here's what, you know, a handicap parking spot means this. And if you listen, our handicap parking spot here, I should have to go update the code to reflect that.
Yeah, I'll look into
fine.
it. Yeah.
If you take
It's a question of authority and making sure you've done
Yeah, I understand.
taking the right action. But I'll look into it.
The counterpart is, we want to do things, we do it, and you can't enforce it until we actually go through the process of a paper law. Right? So,
Right.
which I think that's less palatable than the other one. Okay, well, look into it, let us know. Anything else?
No, I'm not. Any other questions from the board?
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, we could ask a question?
Sure, yeah.
Just Jared, would you be able to get that specific wording to me about what the group is that we would like to collect? I'll get it in all the publicity we're doing.
Oh, yeah, open admission, but yeah, we can get
If
it.
you'd like, just like, you know, some wording. Give it to someone.
Absolutely, you check out the Millbrook Village Police Facebook.
Oh, it's right
page.
on there?
It's up on
Okay,
there.
good, I'll put it in.
Okay, thanks.
Tim,
Yes.
did you want to do anything with Ian before he left?
Good question. Ian's got a hard stop. So looking at the agenda, Ian's got to run another meeting. Is there anything on the agenda here that we need Ian's active participation in? We're going to have a public hearing on the community development block grants, but I think that's pretty cut and dry. Any questions that the trustees will have regarding the code updates? The marijuana opt-out status, basically, Sarah just going to tell us that that's done, right?
Yep.
The Airbnb occupancy tax, I'm going to talk about that, but I don't think we need to do it. So any questions or issues that you'd like Ian to address now before he leaves? Leslie?
No.
Ricky?
That
Okay, so Ian, I think we're covered.
So the only thing I had was these ban renewal resolutions.
Yes, we got those.
Sarah has a copy of those.
And we've all got copies of those.
Okay.
And I think it's pretty cut and dry, it's simply rolling over the bans from the previous year.
Then I'll just give Sarah, I have opinion letters that the bank is gonna want to see. I signed them all, handed to Sarah.
Okay, good.
Okay?
That
And
sounds
I
fine.
appreciate you allowing me to leave early.
Thanks for your turn on the ban request. Before it does leave, just so everyone knows, we have with the water upgrade, we have two bans, $550,000 and $200,000, and we're rolling those over for the full 7 years allowed before we convert them to bonds. The reason why we're rolling them over is because we don't have the wherewithal now to convert them to bonds, because we already have a $500,000 bond we're still paying off through 2026. Okay. So until then, we roll these bans over on an annual basis. And Ian's to get a legal mumbo jumbo for us to follow to do that. Okay, so any questions from the audience on that? Other than that, thanks again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Bob, I see the agenda says Highway Super Cola. It's not the regular Cola.
Okay, for October, November, we replaced a bulb in the flagpole light at Village Hall, removed the AC units at the Village Hall, mowed all properties, blew off the sidewalks and scraped the leaves for a second time on Franklin Avenue, picked up all the flour barrels, 4 had to be thrown out due to rotten bottom.
Just 4? That's amazing.
Yeah, just 4. Again, was kind of hoping that someone from the Business Association would be here. They think they have a suggestion that we need to start looking into permanent flour barrels instead of these wooden ones, because they're $80 a piece, and last year we bought 4, this year we're buying
Okay, so
probably 4 to
the
6.
NBA pays for these, right? This is not the village.
Yeah, this is.
Is that the Millbrook Garden Club?
No, that's the business association.
They plant them, but they
The
don't.
garden club plants the flowers, but the business association pays for the barrels, the dirt,
The dirt.
flowers.
And you're suggesting what? Because I can tell Kevin, since I'm on the board.
I think, I know they can be expensive, like permanent, they make some really nice ones.
Like synthetic, more like,
Yeah, some type of synthetic or something like that.
Resin.
What kind?
Resin.
Yeah, resin. And they make all kinds of designs. But these are just, we just keep throwing them out. I mean, it's,
In the process of putting them out and taking them up doesn't help their lifetime,
No.
so.
and, they're soaked with water.
okay, I'll pass it on for you.
All right, good.
All right. Okay, we repaired 2 street signs. We cleaned out and widened the drainage ditch on 9 Partners. We auctioned off the old plow, and it netted us $1,150,
Nice.
which we collected, but they haven't come taking the plow yet.
Well, they haven't taken me or supper yet either.
They sell them twice.
That's right.
So I'm thinking about auctioning it off again.
That's all right.
Yeah.
The check's cash.
Yeah, well, yeah. We did, of course, we did a little bit of brush pickup. People are still putting it out, and we're also handing out letters. Some of the people are new residents. It's not breaking our backs, but they do need to know.
Roughly how many letters have you given out?
I think 6.
Okay,
3 of them were brand new people.
okay,
I put those little cards in there. They appreciated those too.
Okay.
With the little schedule.
yeah, nice.
Refrigerator type cards.
Okay,
I put those in there with the notice. Of course, leaf pickup has been our main thing. We're doing that every day, every single day, just trying to keep up with it. Luckily, we've had some good weather. It's been a little
blew a hydraulic line, which would have set us back probably 2 weeks if it wasn't for the fact that Darren and Jeff have the skills to fix it.
Wow, okay.
They fixed it within a couple of hours,
Oh,
and
good.
we were back on the road. And it's probably a $1,500 fix at least to have them break it down.
Nice.
There, and they would have to take a couple of weeks, I'm sure they always do. So I want to thank them for keeping us going, otherwise we would have to use the backhoe. It's just, it makes a mess out of everything. The leaf pickup is until December 1st. I've got a few calls from people asking us, can we extend it to January 1st because the leaves aren't falling fast enough? And I just kind of told them, well, we're not going to do that. But of course, if it's a few days after,
Yeah, we'll see.
we always take care.
Okay.
This isn't an unusual thing; it happens all the time.
All right.
All the trees, drop the leaves. The last few days, there's been some piles out there.
Okay.
So, that seems to be going pretty well. That's it.
How's the last light on,
The last light is still not lit.
so what's the outlook for that?
We're still,
I thought you were doing the leaves.
well, that's not us, it's Central Hudson. We're still waiting for them to give us a date. I call them every day. I call.
Oh, wait, Central Hudson. I thought
Central Hudson has to shut the power off. We can't do anything until they come out and shut the power. It's not like the first set of lights where we were able to shut them off. There's a pit that we're not allowed to go into, or I should say the electricians aren't allowed to go into without Central Hudson supervision.
Okay, so you have to call Central Hudson to get them to come out and shut up.
We've been doing that, and I call Mike every day, and he gets pushed off all the time.
I didn't know about this.
Hopefully,
It's like every light has its own story.
What's that?
Every light has its own story.
Absolutely. And Central Hudson is just not responding.
So should I call? I'll talk to you on Friday. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know if that, but I've called.
Well, I did a great job
Yeah,
getting
you
this
did,
stupid.
got this pole.
How about you, did you see what happened in front of Julien's Pizza? They had put a second pole in, and then what they did was, the first pole, they moved the central Hudson wires over the new pole, and then the old pole, they left Optimum, Verizon and Optimum, I guess, had stuff on there.
Yeah.
What they did was, they cut and removed the bottom 5 foot of the pole, and then put 4x4 this way, and not 4x4 that way, to hold the remaining piece of the old pole to the new pole. Oh, yeah. It was there for weeks. Let's say maybe 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah. If you notice,
So finally I called Central Hudson, and they were very helpful. They said, you got to call Optimum, Verizon, I'll see if they can help you out. The next day, I think Verizon was there. No, Optimum was there. And like a week later, Verizon showed up. They took
if you
care.
notice around the village, you'll see a brand new pole, and right next to it, an old pole. And the reason for that is Central Hudson owns the pole, but they are not allowed to move Optimum and Verizon's wiring to the new pole. They can only move the electric. So until, we've got poles sitting there now for years, and until Verizon and Optimum comes over, moves their lines onto the new pole, they can't take the old pole away.
But this one was unique, because usually they leave the old
This
pole
was,
standing.
this was,
That
how
was
they did
just
this was,
A Rube Goldberg. Unbelievable. It was right.
and you'll see wire, it's,
But they did respond, and I was very happy, and actually sent out a nice letter of thanks for what you
yeah,
did.
kind of surprised they came.
Yeah, well, they did.
We can get them to take the other pole, but.
Well, I don't push my luck.
They're not quite as noticeable, but you'll see it.
But this light is the one I do.
The other pole's still sitting there.
All right, so Friday we'll talk about what I can do to help get
That's the
Central Hudson
reason on
to
that.
shut down the power. Any questions for Bob?
No.
Good.
Thanks a lot. Okay, Scott.
Alright, let's start with water. For the month of October, we produced 5,625,630 gallons. Average daily flow is 181,500 gallons. Monthly sampling maintenance was done. Repaired a water leak on County House Road, which was a service line. We installed 2 new fire hydrants on Bennett Common Way, one which was out of service. We flushed all the fire hydrants, and we've installed a water meter in the dorm room.
Which is a good move because that way we can actually bill them for the work that they're going to use.
Yes.
As part of the remediation of it. So thanks for doing that.
Well,
Any questions about the water report? Good.
alright, with the sewer plant, for the month of October, we had a total effluent flow of 5,106,866 gallons. Average daily flow was 164,700 gallons. Precipitation was 6.4 inches. Performed all monthly maintenance and sampling. Royal Harding hauled the sludge dumpster. We completed our annual video inspection of the sewer mains. We covered 10,094 feet, which is the most we've ever done.
Wow.
Repaired a manhole off of Carroll Boulevard that was, water was leaking into the manhole, so we got that fixed. And currently, we've been working with Delaware Engineering to provide information to the DEC for the Speedies permit review, which is due at the end of this month.
Okay. And you're also working with them on the EPA thing?
Yeah, that one we got pushed back till March, so
All right.
we got this to do, and I got the I&I report to do hopefully before December 1st.
Okay.
I'll go work on the EPA thing since it's.
All right. The Blackboard, we're still pursuing the implementation of Blackboard by year end. How are we getting VRI in the loop so they are able to actually use the system? Do they need any training or?
I believe the next step is a training on the actual system itself. The last one we did was to gather what they needed to get it going.
Well, we provided them the GIS mapping of our physical addresses.
Correct.
So they can load in their system.
Right.
And so we want to make sure when this is available that you guys, your team is able to use it as well as ours. And so the question is, do you need to participate, or does someone from your office need to participate in our training, or are you already?
I'll be there.
You'll be there? Okay, good.
I've already talked to Nicole and Sarah, so.
Great. All right, let's go. Any questions about Blackboard? We're doing it as a replacement to the GovDoc delivery system, hopefully by year end. Okay.
He's very helpful.
Yeah, for you guys specifically asked.
Particularly in light of what happened the other day. So.
Yeah.
With
Right.
the water leak, so.
Yeah, the idea is that we can notify people by phone,
Right.
email, or text immediately by physical address if it's being affected by a power outage or a water outage or whatever. So, VRI already uses it with other municipalities and asks us to pick up as well.
The other day, being that everybody's gone home, you know, there's no way to notify anybody that I'm shutting water down, so.
Yeah, you guys shut the water down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Any questions for Scott? Thanks.
All right, well.
Hey, Sarah.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Long time no see.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to read from the treasurer's report. This is for the month of October 2021, and it's pretty small print, but so the end, 10/31/21 for tax account, we had $783,038.50. General fund, $59,372.25. Water fund, $39,559.86. And sewer fund, $21,091.92. I know you guys all saw the operating statement, and it was also posted on our website. Tim explained that we'll do the mid-year report December or January. We'll see what the data says.
Yeah, especially end of the year, you can do a complete report as opposed
I will be sending the final numbers to the county for our taxes for the unpaids. The unpaid total was $14,275.55, and typically we get made whole by the county in March. Final numbers that we collected was $1,070,338.43. That's about all I have for treasurer.
And that 50,000 shows you move that over to the,
That will be moved over, yeah.
yeah, that's part of the SBA,
Correct.
for the sewer.
Yep.
Okay. Just to go down the list, see that the bedrock well account, we did pay $4,600 more towards the water filtration upgrade, but we still now have $59,000 left there.
Correct.
Okay. And so we'll decide later on how we're going to reallocate that, but that's going to go to water and sewer somehow. What else is of interest down there? There's the tennis courts. Okay, so actually the operating expense report shows that Leslie had paid the 30% down payment for the tennis courts. That's been
Yep, that will be in this round of bills.
Yeah, okay, fine. So that was just a lock-in contract with Oval Tennis for the work they're going to do next spring on the tennis court. And the tree replacement program, I see, Mike, that you've spent money for trees, but yet that money is still standing there at $7,600 for the tree replacements.
Well, we haven't expended money for the trees. We have 3 people who have sent back their letters that we sent to them saying they were eligible, and they've returned letters back saying they're interested, so we're making plans to do that for the spring so far.
The spring? Okay, fine.
We'll be using that $7,662 for doing part of it, and part of it I would like to keep in reserve without necessarily going through all of that, because if we do get a community development block grant, if we take out trees, we obviously have to replace them with other trees, and depending on how the grant application and the funding goes, we may need to use part of that $7,600 for those trees at the time.
Good, okay.
So I don't want to, get that down to 0 by the end of the fiscal year. Let's see if we're going to have to use it for an ongoing project into '22.
All right. That sounds like a good plan. Any questions for the treasurer's report?
You wanted me to include the debt schedule?
Yes, let's go. The next page is the debt schedule. This is something, actually, I realized we've gone through this back in March, but I think it'd be good to look at it again as we're embarking on considering additional debt with the retaining wall. So just, Sarah put together this, why don't you just take us through what this is?
So I had put together, we had the general fund and the water fund. Those are the only 2 funds that we have outstanding debt currently with, like, banks, bands and bonds. So, we have the oil spill, we have 2 highway dumps trucks, we have the fire department, chief's truck, and police car for a fund. And then, as Tim just pointed out, we have Better Rocks, which we're wrapping up. And then the 2 water treatment plant upgrade bans that we are renewing this evening.
So look at the totals there. There's, total debt, long-term debt by the village is $1.25 million. And look at the maturity date. So the oil spill, we're going to pay that off all the way through 2030.
Correct.
20-year bond, we're halfway through it. You can see where the dump trucks go off. The police car must be like 24, 25, right?
Oh, yeah, I apologize. I believe it's 25.
25,
Yeah, 'cause
25.
it's like January.
So I'd like for the future to make sure that we don't do things like have, multiple trucks out on loan and pay off one before we get a new one kind of stuff. So this is a good way for us to keep track of that. So that's the A fund. And then for the F fund, those are simply just carryovers from our water filtration and delivery upgrades that we made. We just finished this year. The fact of the matter is that the bond we have there, that will mature in 2026. That's when we convert these other bands into bonds. And we'll be paying off those probably into 2033, 2035 kind of thing. So that is long-term debt that the village has in front of it. Just for the trustees to know, as we're looking forward in terms of what additional things we're gonna do. We want to fix the retaining wall, we want to repair the sidewalks, we want to upgrade our sewer system. All those things, we're going to try to get as much grant money as possible, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to fund some of the money ourselves, which means we'll be adding to this list. We just got to make sure we do it intelligently. So it's important for Sarah to keep us honest in terms of all the stuff we already have in play. So thanks for that. Any questions about that from the audience? Okay.
I think, just quickly before you move on, I'd like to point out that we were talking about that, and some of this has to do with, a lot of the upgrade we just made on the water treatment plant and fixing the water tower, or whatever. But let's not lose sight of the fact that the amount that we're in debt, because we put money out for getting those repairs done, is $1.25 million at this point. But the total cost of the project was over $2 million. So and most of that was we were able to accomplish because we got grants for, in some cases, up to 60% of the total cost, and more than that in some other cases, depending on what the project was. So while people may say, "Oh my God, look at the debt," well, that's $1.2 million, but probably on somewhere between $2 and $3 million worth of improvements that have been made in the last 5 or 6 years. So, we're being very, very stringent about what we spend and how we spend it, and they're getting a lot of good return for the projects that have been completed.
And we have a plan to meet those debts over the long term. So it's not like we're out of control. We're going to make sure we're cognizant of what we have in front of us before we go take the next step. Okay, so thanks for that. Okay.
Do you want me to just move on to the building department?
Do you want to do what?
Did you want me to just do the building department? Do you want to do the?
Oh yeah, do the building department, yes.
Okay. So building department, pretty active month. We had 8 building permits issued. We had 1 sign permit that was for the Thorn building, so the temporary sign. We had 2 certificates of compliance and 3 municipal searches. For planning and zoning boards, they're working on the Russell Knowles project, which is ongoing, and we collected a total of $1,656 in fees for the building department.
And the Russell Knowles project is that building next across from the garage, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Russell Knowles loops around and actually comes back to the garage, so that's where, who is it, who's the company that's going to put a building there?
Well,
It's the guys that just did our addition, JP Woods, right?
No. It's the guy who owns the building with Ed Lodi.
Structure works.
Structure.
Oh, Structure Works, yeah, that's right, yeah. Right, okay.
Yeah, they'll be doing their own.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about there. It says Russell Knowles, I was thinking that down there by Post. But that's really the one over by the village garage. Okay.
That's all I have.
Any questions for Sarah?
No.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the public hearing requesting input from the public regarding ideas for us to make community development block grant submissions. So I'd like to make a motion that we open the public hearing for input from the public. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is open. So does anyone in the public have an idea, suggestion, a thought in terms of what the village should be pursuing in terms of community development block grants?
Community development.
So in other words, the county makes available monies for municipalities on an annual basis. They can make upgrades to their variety of things. There are restrictions on which municipalities are available for what kind of upgrades. But basically, there's opportunities for us to get money. And you're going to see a little later, we are going forward with Mike and Vicky's lead to ask for a development block grant for the sidewalk project. This public hearing is here if anyone else wants to make a statement regarding other ideas that the community would like us to bring forward. Anybody? Yes.
You're just
So you take National White House just when you hear
you're just bringing the songs for this. I was thinking maybe there's something to be done. It sounds like we have a lot of kids running around unsupervised. I don't know, to the library or somebody. Could there be some sort of development of a grant to have programs for these kids. I know there's lots at the library, but they don't seem to partake of it.
Okay.
So maybe there's better things that would attract them better.
All right, so the suggestion is that we see if there are opportunities for grants to make available
Activities for
activities
children, maybe,
Okay.
I don't know, 6 to 8 o'clock when they're supposed to stop running around.
So I don't know right now if that's within the criteria, but we can certainly go back and check that out, right?
Yeah, just for point of information, the library just got $50,000 from the county specifically for program development and for being able to help the libraries, and that could be part of what they
Sure.
might be. I don't think there are any restrictions on that $50,000 in terms of exactly what they have to spend it on. It's somewhat open-ended, if I'm not mistaken, so that might be something, some ways that they can use some of the funds they just received.
That's what we're looking for, is ideas, and whether or not it meets the criteria, or not, we'll find out, but fine, we'll take that. Anything else, Richard?
Sidewalks are super important in this village.
I'm sorry?
Sidewalks are, to me, as a business owner and someone who walks to work every day, sidewalks are critically important in this village.
Good. I'm glad to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Howard, anything?
No, I wasn't aware of it, I didn't give any thought to it, so I have nothing to add.
Okay. Okay, there's no more suggestions, then I make a motion, we close the public hearing, make it a second.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good, so I've got one suggestion, we'll follow up on that, see if there's anything we can do here. Okay, let's move on to the agenda. Okay, code update status, we've already got, pretty good update from vehicles and traffic. Anything else that Buffy and Vicki want to add to what Officer Wood already gave us regarding the status of the code update for vehicle and traffic?
We're just moving along.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, Leslie and Mike, any update on water and sewer, working with Scott?
I'll start, but I reviewed changes in the village code recommended by Scott, went over that quite extensively this past week. I called him afterwards with a dozen questions and clarifications for some of the things that were changed, and I'm very happy with what I saw in terms of it being very topical, and I have spoken with Trustee Hanson about getting together so we can make sure with Scott if there's anything else that needed to be amended or edited in terms of the recommendations he's made, and I'm pretty confident that we can probably have that ready to go for the December meeting in terms of being able to wrap it up with with a bow and say this is something that we can submit for our board's consideration.
Good. Okay, Leslie, want to add anything to that?
No, that was good.
Great. Okay. Streets and sidewalks, I sent out to the trustees a proposal of some updates we're going to make to that chapter 195, based on input I got from Bob a while ago. And Bob, I sent that to you, I assume there's no updates to that?
No.
Basically what that is identifying the need to make sure that, that the people who are doing contract work there have gotten the appropriate approvals and insurance coverage. And also specifying the sidewalks, that the sidewalks, the village does as a service to the community, to keep it clean, to pick up the brush, pick up the leaves, plow the sidewalks. But it's primarily, it is the responsibility of the business, of the owner. So, outside of my house, there's a sidewalk, and I'm really liable for taking care of that sidewalk. So the village helps out, does it as kind of a service, but it's really my responsibility to take care of it. And I wanted the code to reflect that. Any questions or comments about that?
Is it the homeowner's responsibility to repair the sidewalk?
Yes.
Yes?
It is? Okay.
Really? That's in the code?
It's just.
No, it's not in the code, is it?
It's not in the code, it's a
State law.
state law.
Oh, state law? Okay.
It's like a crack in the sidewalk?
Correct.
So what happens is, but we will, as a municipality, go forward with things like block grants to repair and replace sidewalks that are in general disrepair. But as far as the ownership really is the property owner responsibility. And of course, you want to make sure also that there's coordination, so you don't want, if you go on the other side, I'll put in a purple one, and then I put in one that's, a different color, that kind of stuff. So,
What if I wanna block off my sidewalk?
yeah, that's interesting.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
I was saying, like, what if someone wanted to block off their sidewalk?
Yeah.
If I,
The village still has a right of way. But you can't,
Okay.
It's in the code. Can't leave it if it's correct.
well, you don't because we do it, but, technically, if you go to,
Surprised?
you go to other towns or villages, when I tell them what we do, they think it's hilarious because nobody plows their sidewalk.
Well, what they do with restrictions, they say.
You'll see Pleasant Valley, they'll run a snow blower about this wide once in a
well, that's
while.
different than repairing them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm always making
The
sure, like,
repairing is the same thing.
because like outside my house, there are several places that need to be repaired on the sidewalk, and I've like filled in with cement, and it just comes out after the plowing and the salt and everything else. So you're telling me I have to keep doing that?
No,
I mean,
you
because
don't.
I
That's
plow.
why hopefully we're doing the sidewalk, the sidewalk projects, but technically, it's a state. Legally, it's a state law, and if somebody tripped on those sidewalks, they could sue everybody.
That's why you want to keep
We,
it
you know,
concrete in there. Yeah.
It's one of those slippery slope type things, but
It's time for that.
it's the same thing with the ice on the sidewalks, and, I mean, we
Yeah.
perform that service, but again, technically, it's the homeowner and the business owner to take care of the ice.
Doesn't mean that people won't call and complain and ask for us to come out.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll do that.
We do,
I really think we need to ask Ian to look into it and maybe
Ask who?
Ian,
Ian, okay.
from the looks on everybody's, I don't have a sidewalk in my
Right.
but from the looks on everybody's faces here, I think if Bob's correct, and I have no reason to doubt him, we need to get a notice out.
Well, that's why we code updates reflect what really is going on, because right now people think that the village is responsible for the sidewalks, and that's not true.
Well, repairing, I think that's usually municipal.
Well, if you do like a grandiose, full replacement, yeah, that becomes a big project, and actually you want to do it as a municipality, you don't want each owner to take care of their own.
Whatever is a responsibility, I bet the government knows.
Yeah,
I think we should.
hence we need to update the code as a first step. So it's a discussion we're gonna have, we'll,
I want to be in on that discussion.
yeah, okay, fine. All right, well, that's why we'll have a public hearing, we'll have to go through the pros and cons.
See,
The way it is right now is not right, we need to correct
the
it.
slippery slope is, we plow the sidewalks, okay? Which is technically not the village's responsibility. If, after we plow, somebody slips on a plowed area, because we did it, we can get sued. Okay, the village can get sued because, you didn't do a good job, or whatever.
So the
And-
streets?
What's
Not
that?
the streets too?
No, the streets are.
Well, I think that's also a question
Anybody
for
can
the-
sue anybody, I mean, but, technically, yeah, you're not responsible for the streets. But, that's where it's the slippery slope, is that, we're doing that, which is great, and,
Well, the precedent is set, and the implication is that we've owned it, right? When you do it, you own it, so that's where to be careful.
I mean, it's never, they're always gonna be doing it, but I'm just saying, that's, these classes that I've taken, they're all about being sued. And, when I brought up to the instructor that we plow the sidewalks, he was like, really? And, yeah.
Yeah, I've looked at other municipalities' code, you're right, a lot of them have requirements. It's the property owner's responsibility to plow the sidewalk 24 hours after the snow stopped. If you don't, then the municipality will come and do it and bill you. They'll do that kind of stuff.
That's not.
We have a
Yeah,
precedent.
keep it,
for
yeah,
our city.
salt, and I do all of that, but it's just like,
That would happen,
Maintenance
but-
repairs the same way. Well, we'll have a discussion later when we actually get to the point of actually bringing it forward. That's the idea.
Sounds great.
And I send it all to you as a proposed topic. Okay, moving on. Any more questions about that, comments? Yes.
Just for clarity, what you are saying is that I, as a homeowner, have a sidewalk in front of my house. And because I am not responsible for repairing the sidewalk and the concrete to maintain it, or I will be sued, this will be false. So just for clarity, the village installed the sidewalk.
Yeah.
How do I know as a homeowner that you did it to the specifications of the state at the time, so that I can remove my liability? Otherwise, people are just gonna take the sidewalks out. I mean, that to me is unbelievable that that would be made a public.
Yeah.
At a public meeting, you guys,
I agree.
homeowners being responsible for maintaining the integrity of the sidewalk, not snow, garbage, ice, the actual.
Actual sidewalk.
That is ludicrous to me, you guys are talking about this in public
Really?
hearing, in a public forum, it's ludicrous.
Why?
Because then I'm just going to take my sidewalk out. Why would I have a sidewalk in front of my house if I'm gonna?
Well, as I said, this is part of the discussion we have as far as an update to the code, so don't deny and don't take out your sidewalk. You know,
But I'm saying that, I mean, there's
in a
no,
public forum.
there's no way I'm responsible for filling cracks in my sidewalk and the curb cuts. I mean, you don't expect that the average homeowner is gonna own a concrete cutting device to get curb cuts done, right? I mean,
You
and
have a
then
lot of
you're
work
really
on your
wrong
house,
as long
you
as
don't
you're
even
doing curb
enforce
cuts. I think that you guys have to look at that a little more carefully.
We will. We have to put on the table.
Agreed.
Because right now what we have is not appropriate. And the village is taking on liability that we shouldn't be taking on.
Snow and ice removal, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the actual sidewalk, the physical
Yeah.
sidewalk.
It's very related.
I mean, I don't even think mine's on my survey. I'll have to go back and look, like, the sidewalk, like, my markers were not, like, past the sidewalk where I.
They don't go to the street?
No. I'm gonna go back and look.
Okay.
I got one not too long ago. I'm gonna go take a look at that, because, yeah, when we did the apartment, I had to have a survey done, and I'm pretty sure it does not include that sidewalk, but I will double check.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure my survey goes to the street, but I'm not.
I could be wrong,
No.
but it's good to check. I do
Yeah.
agree with.
Well, it's a topic we're gonna have discussions on, and obviously there's some emotion there, and we're gonna have to have a discussion. But we first should check with the lawyer, and I will do that. Okay, moving on. Tennis court bid, Leslie?
You had kind of mentioned it before. We are paying the 30%, and so we just have to wait till next spring, and they will start the process. So that's where we're at.
Okay, good. Thanks for taking care of that. All right, let's talk about parade of lights. Seal.
So I,
A little bit more upbeat.
hope everybody got
A
a
little
sheet
bit more
on.
upbeat.
Well, let me bring my glasses. So it should be pretty self-explanatory. I was able to speak to Ted and finish that off rather quickly. So I just gave you the timeline. So town is taking care of the tree lighting, and they're having a little meet and greet. At 5:50, we're having children in mini cars. If anybody has any kids or knows of kids who have electric mini cars, I've never seen this, but apparently it's done. They're going to go from Front Street to Friendly Lane, well before the parade. It's kind of a prelude to the parade. But apparently I have to just find kids with electric mini cars. Got 2. So, I know, other guy, class. But she doesn't know anybody else. And I didn't even know it happened, but everybody loves it apparently. So we need kids with electric mini cars. If anybody knows, get in touch with me. Then a vehicle will pick up Santa at 6, and Ted just said that he could get a fire engine. We didn't know that. He said he will get a fire engine to pick up Santa. If not, we have other options. Q92 is willing to do it. They'd be delighted to drive Santa.
All right, but Ted said that the fire department was supposed to.
Yeah, if anything happens, we've got other options.
Okay.
Just so. All right, so for publicity, Central Press has really offered to do a lot, I have to say. John McDonald is making and donating larger posters for the windows, and he's making palm cards, which I thought was sort of incredible, but he wants them in all the businesses in the town as well. And I thought, now, well, I think if I come tomorrow, I bet I can get the information about this charity on there so people can bring stuff and know that we're collecting. So I'll do that. If you know Ann Levy, she's working with John to design the posters, and she's going to distribute them with Kevin. Q92 is coming. They're sending Annie from Annie in the morning, but she's gonna interview. She's gonna be at the Tree of Life. I guess they go back and forth between the radio, like here we are in Millbrook, blah blah blah. And then she is going to come up, interview people in the crowds, and probably go on stage with the DJ to interact with him. And they're going to promote the event on the radio. And Northern Dutchess News is going to do some stories, and I need to contact the Village News, but Judith is here, so that's good. All right, so John also offered his services. He's for free being our DJ and MC, and he's going to set up a stage at Church in Franklin. He'll be there by 5 p.m. with speakers. He's going to put it both ways so music goes out, both sides. And then he'll do the commentary on the vehicles as they go by. I already said about Annie coming. The high school is sending a roving brass band, and they want places for them to go for like 15 minutes to play traditional Christmas music. So I've already checked with Chelsea and with John. They're going to do the tree lighting part of the time. They're going to come up and be on the stage. And maybe give ideas for other places, like we thought of Aurelia's, the diner, where they could play music for 10 or 15 minutes and then they'll move on. So if anybody has, I guess at Aurelia's they have to get permission, but I'll have Kevin do that.
Okay, good.
Susan's been pretty good about that.
Yeah, I think she,
Yeah.
You said John had an issue with electric down at the corner. Do you need Mike to put in a new electric outlet or something?
yeah, I was gonna get that to things that we need.
Okay, fine.
But I mean, let's do it right now. So John would like to have another outlet. He would like one on the side of J. McLaughlin, or what's it called, Todd? That home store.
The home store on the other corner.
So on that side, but he'll try to work with whatever we do, but he checked with Mike Schultz, who could do it for $135. So he's asking for that. So I'll leave that up to whether, what you guys think.
So Bob, the idea, the suggestion is to get him an outlet over by the old Forza building, from the hooking his amps to this parade. And Mike said he can do it for $135.
Yeah, which building?
You know, the old Forza at the corner?
On that side of
How
Franklin
much
Avenue.
power does it need?
Isn't there one on the light post? An
No,
outlet?
can't use the light.
He's had a discussion at length with Mike Schultz about it, so maybe they can, I can ask him to tell you.
I'm sure Mike can run something out of one of the buildings.
He said, oh, you mean a temporary thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's all it would be, right?
I don't
Well,
know.
he's talking about putting a permanent one in, I think it's for $135.
So it's to do the parade every
Yeah,
year?
yeah.
I guess you could.
I'm
Electric
hesitant
is
to
not my
him.
thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure where we would,
I don't know how much
Talking
he
about
needs,
the building?
how big his amps are, which he'll be doing as far as, okay.
Should I have him contact?
I mean,
All right, so, the I'll call him and find out.
He's
And
right.
then I'll call
he
him.
needs to talk to, well, he's already talked to Mike. I mean, he's an electric man.
Yeah, I mean, he just got, I told him that someone would want to speak to the board about it first, I'm sure. And so we
Do
went
you know
ahead
where
and
they
got,
want to put this outlet?
on that side of the street he wanted.
Yeah, but I mean, a building and it would have to be.
Well, as soon as I'm building, I was gonna ask.
Would have to be the building owner's permission.
Yeah.
Oh, I assumed it'd be like by a pole or wherever we plug
Oh,
in.
and a pole,
Oh, I don't know. Honestly, he just asked for an outlet on that side.
I guess he could reconnect the pole.
And then when I said it would have to come to the board, he just talked to Mike Schultz about an estimate.
Because all those plugs on poles have been
disconnected.
disconnected.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I guess he could probably, maybe that's what he's talking about, reconnecting.
Well, let me call Jonathan McConnell and I'll talk to him.
okay, then maybe.
That would be the thing to do, would be,
Okay, I really don't know about it, but that's what he
reconnect
asked.
that one.
A lot of businesses, I know from putting up lights last year, do have outlets or, places you can plug in as part of
I
the
know,
framework
right.
of their building.
Oh, yeah, a lot of the buildings do have it.
I'm just afraid if he's got a big amp, it's gonna draw a lot of current and then a regular outlet may not be enough. So that's why I should talk to
Yeah,
Jonathan.
I don't know.
All right,
I'm sure it can be done easily.
All right, so that's all the entertainment we have so far. Oh, by the way, Broogies and Bank of Millbrook are sponsoring Q92. So they're not
Paying for
paying
it,
for
yeah.
it. All right, so then Santa's vehicle is going to wait near the parking lot, and it'll be first in the parade, go up, pick up Santa, and then I would like the village, Tim said he would try to organize a float, the town, Gary said he'll organize a float, and then if we have a special float, they'll go next, and then all the other vehicles will line up on Franklin Avenue, and 44, and if we get a lot, they'll go on Halcyon, is that what that street's called? Halcyon over there, and then they'll cross over. All right, and then 2 honorees are gonna follow the parade to clean up the litter, so we'll take care of that night. And so the safety things I'm asking everybody, please don't throw candy from vehicles. Candy's great, but we want people to walk alongside. I think Jared said he'd help monitor that when I just spoke to him, and throw the candy towards the buildings, so kids don't run on the streets, so they run away from the parade. We talked about that we don't want spectators, like really around that bend by the gas station, is that correct, Mike? As well as the gas station or Front Street?
Well, there would be a lot of people across the street, and that's fine, but I think in terms of, we haven't had any spectators lining up on the village green in the past. Pretty much the spectators started on the sidewalk across from the gas station. And
Oh, okay, I thought you were worried about kids being on the corner there by the gas station, but not you. Well, anyway, we won't let them be there, I guess.
Well, no, it's just a matter of making sure that particular curve is one of the more dangerous parts of the
Yeah,
parade.
it's a turning there.
Because that's where a lot of the tractors have to turn,
Right.
and they don't always have a clear view of the left and right, and if kids come running out while they're looking in the other direction to make that turn, it can be a rather sensitive spot.
So we'll try to get them up from there, and I'll ask them not to throw candy before there. I need to get, well, first of all, I talked to Jared tonight, and he would like volunteers to help to watch on the side of the streets and keep people back. He said he wasn't sure if the fire department could help this year, so that would be great if we get volunteers. And I would like to buy safety vests for them, unless we have them. And no one seems to say we do.
Ted doesn't have those?
No, he didn't say anything.
Okay.
Like those yellow, the cheap kind you
Yeah.
just throw over your clothes.
Yeah.
So I guess I can let you know how many
Okay.
I think we'll need. And then, any child that drives up a little mini vehicle up Franklin Avenue, I'm asked they come with an adult, so I already told 2 people. And then, Jared confirmed that they're taking care of the traffic, they'll close down the street, and, I don't have to worry about that. And that's it, unless there's questions. No mini vehicles?
Any questions?
Not questions, just one comment about the candy, so I want to make sure we're clear. The candy, the village is not providing any candy.
No.
Okay, the candy that.
Well, I didn't expect the village to.
Yeah, no, but in the past, the candy was always distributed by the people on the floats.
And they've already asked, I've had 2 fire departments ask about that.
Yeah, so they have, so if they're gonna do that, what I would like to try to see if we can, not demand, but strongly suggest, is that if the float's coming and they wanna be able to distribute candy, they are responsible for having somebody from the float, not being on the float, but being next to the float, in something that they're carrying and giving the candy out from there.
That's exactly what I told them. I know the 2 fire departments said that they would provide people to do that, to throw their candy. And I don't know, somebody pointed out at our meeting that it's really tough to walk up Franklin Avenue and keep up with the vehicle, even though they're slow. But maybe they could do it part of the time, right? Because the parade stops, they can jump on or off. I don't know. But yes, I told them that. Somebody's got to walk alongside, not off the float. Okay? LaGrange is sending the town trucks, all decorated, and I don't know if Millbrook wants to send our town trucks. I thought the leaf blower could be decorated.
They're like a solid dish on top.
Well, I hate to be outdone by LaGrange.
I'll pick up the leaves beforehand.
Okay. All right.
All right, thanks. Okay, holiday decorations, trustee Trentino. Actually, that's before Parade of Lights, right? Because you got the trees and all the light and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I think we should thank CL for taking it on.
Yes.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Your pleasure? Okay, good. Okay.
Now it's gonna be fun.
All right.
And likewise, if Kevin were here, it would be very appropriate to thank him, because the MPA is really, as usual, embracing the holiday decorations. So I would say that for now, it seems that as far as the village is concerned, we're probably going to be helping fund an additional strand of lights on the trees along that line. In addition, the village responsibility is probably, and I've discussed this at length, with helping to erect the trees and dispose of them, as well as breaking out the cutout decorations that we put in various places in the village. And then the MBA is going to mobilize its forces, whether it be volunteers or there's, I guess, some discussion and pick up a force to decorate trees on them.
So is there a schedule for the trees to be delivered?
No one has said anything to me.
So they're hoping to have them up. I spoke to Kevin today. Sorry, Nikki.
No, please jump in, because
He was saying that, of course, they always decorate the weekend after Thanksgiving. He was hoping to have them delivered the week before Thanksgiving, which is next week.
They have to be, yeah.
Yeah. And
That's the only time we're gonna have to put them up.
right,
for
so
3
I'll
days.
reach out to him just to find out the schedule.
If
He
we
was
can-
hoping if we could get them up that week, that they could actually be decorated before Thanksgiving, so everything, all the kinks can be worked out and so forth.
The same place getting the trees, Millbrook Gardens,
That I'm not sure of. I would think so, but he did not mention
they
it.
haven't been ordered yet?
No, they've been ordered.
Oh.
Oh, no, they've been ordered.
Alright.
Yeah, he just didn't tell me delivery date, so I'll reach
Oh,
out to
okay,
him.
well, usually Millbrook Gardens, provide the trees.
Okay.
And, they drop them to us as soon as possible. They drop them at the garage as soon as possible, and that way we can do them.
So is there a map available? Does Bob know where to put the trees, or?
well, I've spoken to Bob about some of the concerns he had from last year, because Mary Laboratory could not put her hands on the map that Bob was asking for. But I think that was all going to be straightened out later, because you had told me, Bob, that except for these couple or few problem areas, the rest you pretty much remember. But we can draw something up and
I
probably.
mean, I can do them from memory, but the problem was last year, we know the building, but we don't know
Exactly.
where they want the tree. We put them on one side, and then they got, somebody took them apart and put it on the other side. There's no guideline with that. And we put up 2 trees that somebody didn't want at all. So that's the kind of thing that we need. The rest of the stuff I can pretty much know where they go. But there's just a few that we need more specifics on. And then there was one guy that did, another guy that took it through in the back, stuff like that. We want to just.
Well, okay, so.
Yeah, there are some very specific things that Bob shared with me that I got to Kevin, and maybe we can also get that.
Yeah, if we got that clear, then it's, I know pretty much all the houses that get them and who gets what. But,
So how do you know how many trees to get if you don't know where you're going to put them? Is that?
well, it's always been the same order, pretty much.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think he knows.
Is that?
I think he
knows.
The only, one thing I did ask Vicky was last year, whoever was designating where the trees go, only gave the fire department 4. And they've always gotten 8 so that they can do every single door.
Oh,
So luckily we had enough, I gave them an extra 4, so
Sure.
I'd like them to, be able to do.
sure,
Yeah, that's that information.
okay.
So what I did want to just make sure I said is Bob has been so key for this effort, and I'm sure the idea is grateful.
I'm sorry, I didn't,
That you have been so key
Oh.
to this organizing effort. And I'm sure that the idea is very.
did we find out who's doing the electric?
Last I spoke to Kevin, he's still working on it, but he's talking to Mike Schultz.
Okay, that's a great idea, that's a,
Yeah, because I had a call from that.
So is talking to Mike Schultz about doing the electric?
I'm not sure that it's only him, I don't
Okay.
know, I just don't know, but he is talking to him.
Okay.
in the past, there was always an electrician who did the whole job,
Mm-hmm.
and they stopped that because of the expense, I guess.
Yeah, not last year.
Oh, no, that's probably 6, 7 years
Yeah,
ago.
okay.
at least. So it's been, but we I don't know, who did the, I don't know who does the electric.
All right, so Bob, you're gonna check on when the trees are coming.
Yeah, I'll talk to Kevin, but I'm talking to him tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'll just reach out to him and I'll ask him to get in touch with you ASAP about.
Yeah, he's great, we work, he always calls me, tells me they're in, and where do you want to drop, and,
Okay. And the lighting, so we don't know what the day is yet that they're gonna have the lights on the trees?
I was originally told that it was going to be, the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Black Friday, right, that's when it sort of goes.
I don't know 2 days, because some things are still a moving target.
Yeah.
Which day, if the day might have changed, and if the volunteers, for the us that worked on it last year, are even gonna be needed to put lights on. There may be another option.
All right, so when do we find out, or how do we notify us if we need to be
Well, I'm sure.
out there?
they'll tell us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Or tell Buffy or tell us so that we can free up our calendars.
Yeah.
And the big tree, who's taking care of that, the one that's gonna be down on the green?
Well, Kevin said the last I talked to him, said that he has secured the tree.
He's got the tree.
Yes. So beyond, and, we don't decorate.
So Bob, do you set that tree up, or does that set it up?
no, the fire department.
Oh, the fire department sets it up.
Well, they have in the past.
Right, we don't know
haven't
if it's
gotten
started,
any
they're
commitment
doing.
from the fire department to do it.
And they have the big trailer to get
You get it and bring it
the
here?
tree, and we take it down.
Okay. All right, so you check with Ted to see what the deal is with the tree, or ask Kevin, maybe Kevin's on that too.
Yeah, but no, I think the NBA is handling it, so.
The MBA's handling it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
They're handling it, and then, just to close it out, for McNamara, we checked with, the Thorn Building LLC, and they've given us permission to erect the cutouts and McNamara on, in front, like we usually do.
Where it usually goes, okay.
As long as it's far enough from the fence, that there's no interference.
Now, do you set that up, or does someone else set that up?
Well, you do the
The
cutouts.
Jewish, someplace in Rhinebeck.
The rabbi from Rhinebeck, he
What are the carols?
No, they would do that.
You do that, okay.
Bob and I talked about that.
Okay, fine.
And then, again, I spoke to Kevin about the electricity for that area, because they handle that.
Okay.
As long as the Thorn building still has electricity, I don't, they provide that, it always comes off the Thorn building.
Yeah, I was telling, thinking that somebody's gotta get inside the fence there to connect to that outlet box that's right through the window.
Yeah, as long as they still have, I'm sure I know they're working on the electricity.
Right.
Yeah, Kevin told me earlier this week, he's talking to Schultz about that.
Okay, fine.
And it's early this year, so it's right after that.
All right.
But they don't actually do the lighting until the fifth.
Till the fifth, right?
Yeah.
But it's early this year.
Yeah, okay. All right, fine. All
Well,
right.
you should know, because I think she's providing some refreshments.
Oh, is that right? Okay. And, so you're gonna get extra lights you're using the $2,500 we've got sitting in that reserve fund. Anything else you're gonna do for decoration?
I don't know that we're doing anything else this year, that's, again, moving target.
Okay. All right.
One more request, and I've made this request, I don't know how many times, but we do have to buy things. Sometimes we have to buy wires, sometimes we have to buy the ties that we tie the trees up, sometimes we have to buy stakes, wood for the manger. We can't, the business association doesn't have an account anywhere but at Reardon Briggs. And the wooden things, which I know we're gonna need a few pieces this year, can only be bought at Williams, and they don't have an account at Williams.
Oh.
And they won't open one up there, so it makes it hard, because now the village can't be paid back by, if we buy something, we can't give the business association the bill anymore. So, is there, maybe make the request again to open up an
Well,
account
let's ask
there?
Buffy, could you ask if the NBA could open up any
I think
account?
their reasoning is because it's in the town of Pleasant Valley, and we are from Millbrook Business Association, and we're trying to support our local businesses.
But if the local business doesn't
I
carry what we
understand that,
need,
and I think
that's,
that's the reasoning behind it.
well, I understand
So
that, but
can't you just maybe, I'll ask them, you can just like keep your receipts, and then we can write you a check to reimburse you?
personally, you mean?
Oh, personally.
No, I mean, or we can take them out of the decoration fund, I don't know, reimburse that, how does that work?
We
Well,
can't, yeah, she used the village credit card.
we can't use the village, because that was part
What
of it.
do you do when you go, when you just put it on the village account?
Well, that basically we have.
Yeah, okay, fine.
We paid for, ended up paying for it, so,
We
we should,
can't
if that's okay with everybody, that's fine, but it's just,
Well, you've got the main stuff already, just replacement boards. and things like that.
replacement stuff, things like that.
Okay. I guess for the time being, let's just put it on the village account, and then if it gets to be significant, then we'll be looking.
No, not a problem.
Okay.
I just didn't want to go get
No, you're
something.
right. Okay, good, so everyone's clear on what's happening, you're gonna plan,
Yes,
you
it's the
you
same.
stay first,
I mean, what we do is what we do every year, so that doesn't change.
and you have access to the garage,
You said the 12th, right? I guess it's supposed to,
yeah, supposed to clear out the garage.
we have
The
to
high
go out so
speed,
we can get to the decorations, yeah.
Don't drive school, asked to use our garage to store some stuff, and they stuffed the garage, and so Bob can't get in there because take the danger out.
Sand is trapped.
So I talked to the principal, and they promised to have a pod available this week that they clear out and make it available, so.
Yeah, we don't usually put those up until next weekend,
Okay.
so as long as it's all.
I mean, you're getting close on that, but okay. Any other questions or comments about the holiday decorations or the parade lights?
Just the last thing I'll say is that last year we had a record amount of volunteers putting up lights, and it was heartwarming to see the amount of volunteers that came out. Amazing. So I think, I know Kevin's going to do due diligence to make sure that people are aware that they're needed, but we must have had easily 15, 20 people who helped us light. I've never seen that many on the street before, and it was a ton of fun. Everyone had a really good time with this. So if he gets the word out, he'll get plenty of help.
All right, good. Next topic is the community development block grant. Mike, can you talk about that?
Okay, just update, the Village of Millbrook submitted a letter of intent to the Dutchess County Planning Board, and that was for that we were gonna put in the CDBG block grant for sidewalk repair. We were informed last week that we're eligible for funding. Whether or not we get funding is dependent on after our application goes in. That application is due by December 1st. I spent 2 hours working on that today, and I'll be working with the mayor, go on
Okay,
You and
good.
I next week are gonna have to go at that, do that. Now, if there's no other opinions expressed tonight other than the one that was given, and if the public wanted to speak through emails or something else concerning this process, they can send emails to, the village of Millbrook mayor at gmail.com to be able to supplement anyone who hasn't looked at the meeting tonight. Because we have to show in the application that we did due diligence to make sure that everybody was informed and had an opportunity to speak to the fact of putting out the grant. So, just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. All right, so we're off and running, trying to get a grant for the sidewalk repair and replacement. Hopefully we can start that project next summer. Right?
Well, basically, I think the applications have to be by December 1st. We'll know within a few months. They're not gonna let us know next summer. It'll be well before that.
Yeah.
Make a decision a few months after, and we'll know by the spring, whether we got grant or not. And the important to that is the fact if we get the grant, great. It's the limits for the grant is $100,000 for what we can use. So when we get estimates from the ready on exactly how much it's gonna cost to do different sections, we'll know how much we can get done, but this will be an ongoing process.
Well, that's right, because the best thing about this is we reapply every year, right?
Yeah.
For the same kind of thing.
Yeah, we're focusing on the stretch of sidewalk for right now from Front Street to Church Street on both sides, based on what kind of repairs we can do and what kind of money is available. So that's gonna be for 21, 22, and we're fully aware that places on between Church Street going up to Friendly Lane are equally need a repair, and so that's gonna be phase 2 where
Yeah.
we're going forward.
Good. Okay, any questions about that? Yeah.
So do we have the estimates yet, or we're still?
No, we don't have the estimate yet. We had the promise of the estimate. We don't have the estimate.
And we need the estimates like literally within days, because we've got to be able to fill out an expense form to show how much the project is going to cost.
Any questions about that? Okay, next topic is the retaining wall. So the status there is, Dover Engineering says the bid is complete, pending a final review by the design engineer. That they've asked Sarah to have bids advertised ready to send out this week, with the bids due returned by December 9th for an opening at the Village Hall. So this is the repair replacement of the retaining wall holding up Front Street and Harts Village. It's about 800-foot long stretch of road that we want to make sure is supported and safe forever and ever. And as far as funding, one of the reasons we're going to bid is because we're not sure exactly what it's going to cost yet. So one purpose of the bid is to find out just what the cost is. My proposal, how we would fund this, would be to start off using the American Relief Fund monies as the first, hopefully more than half of that cost. And then we would talk about at a later time, based on what we need to still bridge, what other things we could do, like CHIPS money possibly, what's left over in the Consolidated Trust Fund, and any new debt. Okay. So first step is to find out what the cost will be, then we'll figure out how we can fully fund it. But right now we've got a game plan, and we're gonna wait and see just exactly what the bid plan is. Any questions about that?
Do we have any more clarity on exactly whether or not we're going to be eligible to spend it on the wall itself, or?
Mingle on the already is really clear. It
Yes,
says
or no?
anything that's directly, you can do your work that's directly related to sewer projects or water projects. And 2 of the 3 roads are adjacent to the sewer plant. Or you're in the midst of construction, or those roads start to deteriorate, it's gonna interrupt our sewer project. So, I mean, other people have asked this question, and it's been the frequently asked questions which are included that you all have. So I think it's been asked and answered very quickly.
And we saw an email from NICOM saying that the federal government is looking to modify the criteria, right? Because a lot of us small municipalities are having trouble fitting in the specifics of the initial requirements, such that in this proposed revision, that is being discussed at the congressional level now, they would actually make these kind of improvements directly applicable.
There's a standalone bill, and I looked at the status just earlier this week. It's, I don't know if they're going to take so the infrastructure bill, I mean, we haven't been asked, but there is a standalone bill that also makes it clear other kinds of things that this is going on. But I think, you know, we already have the authorization for this project, why wait to see other projects next week?
Well, I think we've got clear headlight to take care of, yeah.
Yeah, because when we're ready to start the sewer project, it'd be nice if that area, goes with clearance.
Right. Okay, any questions or comments about that? All right. Next topic, the marijuana opt-out status. We already discussed this. Basically, we're done. All right, that's completed. The Airbnb village occupancy tax, I said we're going to follow up on that. Based on my discussions with Ken McLaughlin, we need to update our zoning law. Just first off, add Airbnb as the possible occupancy. And the second is to specify that it requires a special permit. And so what I would recommend to the board is that we include that next time we go through a local law update. Any questions or comments about that? The idea would be that we would be able to jump on the county's current process where they charge a 4% tax, and we would charge the same 4% tax on top of it for Airbnbs in the village. The expected revenue for on an annual basis has been raised at $10,000. It's not a lot of money. There's simply a process in place that allows us to tax Airbnb space.
So, the county already has legislation,
County already has a tax.
so they will have a definition of the properties that it can cover.
County county has a registration site for all Airbnbs in the county, including those that are in the village.
But they're not just Airbnbs, there's Verbo, there's different platforms. It's short stays.
Yeah, short stays, right?
Right, so I'm just wondering if, so there's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And the idea is we would just piggyback on what the county's currently doing. So this is a discussion for the future once it goes around the so that's the process. Any problems with that? Any questions?
Do we know what the special permit will entail?
All it does is it requires anyone who wants to put an Airbnb in has to come forward to the planning board and specify you're basically registered. And this is just a process of control. So that's how you get that special permit. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
This question, I don't know the answer. In your code, do you have any particular regulations for the Airbnb, for example, home occupied?
Our current code has nothing about Airbnb.
Yeah,
So this would be in addition to the code in the zoning law to specify what an Airbnb is, and here's what the criteria is for the village.
So we running an update?
Yeah. It requires an update. It requires a local law. Okay, that's what I'm going to put them on with the other changes we make.
Right. Big towns are the same.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, before we go to public comments, so Sarah, have we done the ban resolutions? Should we do those now?
Yes.
I guess my copy kind of lost control with the.
You should have enough. Did you get the other ones I left for you?
Oh, these things here. Yes. Let's go through these three resolutions. The first one a resolution for the, community development block.
Right.
Okay. So Mike's already discussed this, let me just read through it. Basically, we are participating in the 2022 Dutchess County CDBG, whereas inputs from the group from citizens have been received, whereas an application has been prepared, be resolved that the application for the above referenced activity is approved, be further resolved submission is authorized. Motion moved by Mike, will make the motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Second by?
I'll second.
Okay.
Mayor Callapine,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino,
Aye.
Trustee Arbogast,
Aye.
Trustee Hansen.
Thank you. Now we have two bond anticipation renewal notes. They should look very much the same, except for the first one is for $200,000. First taken out in 2020. Any questions about what we're trying to do here? We've already discussed this. We're simply going over the bond anticipation notes from the previous year. We plan to do so for the full 7 years available until the converted bonds. Okay? So for the first one, authorizing issues of $200,000 bond anticipation note renewal.
Mayor Callapine,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino,
Aye.
Trustee Arbogast,
Aye.
Trustee Hansen.
Thank you. And for the second bond anticipation renewal note, this one is for $550,000. Same criteria, for the same purpose, the water improvement plan.
Mayor Callapine,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino, Trustee Arbogast,
Aye.
Trustee Hansen.
Okay, good. Anything else that I forgot before we go to public comments?
Trustee updates.
Well, we'll do public comments first. We'll do that.
Okay, that's all.
Any public updates? Comments? Howard? Judith? Seal?
Other people are going, I wish they wouldn't put trees against the buildings. Oh, Vicky's here. I think it looks so sloppy the way they fall over. I think it'd be better to have it bare and put trees somewhere else. You know how they just lean them against the building? I just would like them to consider not doing that.
I guess we'll make that Kevin.
Kevin?
I'll relate
I'll
to
tell.
Kevin, because he knows I feel the same way.
Oh, is that
But
right?
there we go. Walk over.
Yeah.
You better have no tree there and put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where they can be supported by
Yeah.
They
plastic strips at the bottom. Yeah.
don't they use the
No, not against the tree, they just, not against the building.
Not against the buildings, just depends on the business.
It's like
owner,
five
they do that.
trees or so, right? If there's nowhere else to put them, they just lay them against the building and it just falls over. So, I think it brings down the whole, you know, it's a beautiful display.
Yeah,
I think that takes away.
I'll make sure that they're all, I'll tell Kevin that they should all be supported by something.
Thank you,
or-
Bucky.
Just don't jackhammer a hole in the sidewalk for the sake of it.
Yeah.
No, but we have to take care of it all.
We'll just give more to the village and the entire department. You know.
I think Kevin kind of feels the same way.
No, I think he does, and that's why he's actually
I think
talking.
you better have no
100%
tree
to
then.
someone. He's actually talking to someone about helping with the lights and paying someone to
Good.
get them to look
All right.
much better.
Oh,
Yeah, than they have in the past.
thanks.
So he's definitely taking that into consideration.
Thank you.
All right, duly noted. Any other comments from the public? No? Okay, trustee comments. Deputy Mayor Herzog.
Okay, just a few comments. First one concerning the Shade Tree Commission. So there's some activities going on. The Shade Tree Commission has received all 3 letters back from residents that want trees planted this spring, sent out. And the next step is a member of the commission will visit the planting sites with the vendor who will be probably supplying the trees to confirm what trees can be planted
This is the county legislature or the state?
It's the state.
State, okay. All right.
So I had a conversation with DEC, Urban Forestry Division Forester, George Purvis, who's worked with us in the past, and said he would be happy to let me know the applications are available so we can do what we have to do to be able to apply. It could be a grant, be able to then get a tree survey if they need.
Will we 100% coverage? We'll cover the whole cost of the survey or just partial?
No, it'll cover 100% of the cost, and the grant would probably be in the amount of somewhere about $50,000 to $60,000.
Wow, okay.
So that's something that we're gonna try to get done. It's been recommended in the past, but we haven't been able to get it done. And finally, the shade tree members inspected 2 trees that Bob Solar had found that were considered dangerous. We are electric line and in danger of falling over. We inspected them, and those trees have been removed with notification to the owners and with consultation.
Okay. Following the process, very good.
Following the process. And then with the CAC, I attended a meeting of the CAC on November 3rd. The topics discussed included current applications for the Town of Washington Planning Board. We discussed different applications that are currently being considered. Research was done on the possibility of having a tree ordinance for the Town of Washington. And a subcommittee report was discussed on climate smart communities. And there is a subcommittee that's working on being able to get a presentation together and then work with Town of Washington board members to potentially see if that's something that the town would consider. We also talked about workshop opportunities given by the Cornell Cooperative Extension and different ones that could be attended by CAC members, potentially for credit and then be able to expand their expertise.
Okay. Any questions for Mike?
Howard, anything to add?
No, I think that the village is doing a good job, and, you know, hopefully you use some of the village's knowledge on the town trade tree committee if it comes about.
Okay. Okay, good, thanks. Trustee Cantina?
The only thing I would add to what everyone else said is that in addition to researching any opportunities to secure government funding for the asset replacements
Yeah.
on the horizon, I've begun investigating the new infrastructure bill that's likely to be signed by the president to see if it provides any opportunities for us in the long term. It is not proven yet, at all proven yet, you know, whether you're doing a grant process, whether you're doing it through the federal government, through the state, down to the states, through state agencies, what exactly would be eligible, when this is going to be eligible. So it's very exciting, there's a lot of money there, but none of these things.
You certainly hear the states talking about how they're going to get X billions of dollars kind of stuff, right? So it sounds like they're already talking about at the state level, the money's flowing.
Right, but whether it will flow to
Yeah, right.
localities is not.
Yeah, okay, so it's early. All right. So keep watching, please. Appreciate your insight on that. Anything else?
That's it.
Trustee Arden, yes.
Just a quick update on the comprehensive plan review committee. We're finally making some headway, and I would just encourage the public to be engaged in those meetings, participate and listen, because there's a lot going on.
Okay.
So,
Come to the town board meetings, or
to the comprehensive plan review committee,
are they on Zoom, or they?
they, yeah, you can Zoom most of the meetings, yep, they're.
Are they on a regular schedule or?
It's not a regular schedule, we're
So
trying
it's
to
on the
get on a
website?
regular schedule. We just hired a planning firm and a lawyer, and we're really making some headway, getting some focus groups together, and we're gonna get, have the public get engaged in a lot of things as well. So it's moving along fine.
Good.
So I just wanna make everybody aware of that so they can
Good.
start checking with the websites. It will be posted on the town of Washington website in the meetings.
Okay.
And if I can get any information, I can send it to Sarah. Maybe she can put it out there as well for the village, because it involves both the village and the town. So, that's it.
Okay, thanks. Any questions? Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay. Please, go ahead. I'm done.
It sort of relates to, so on the electric vehicles, because we discussed this earlier, just before I came to the meeting, Bob Audio, town board member, was in touch with me and said that they're proceeding in their investigations with the local company that could fund the installation of electric vehicle chargers. And at their next meeting, from this town meeting in December, discussion should be on local plans.
Good.
It's very, I think, very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
All right, thanks. Trustee Hanson?
I have no additional updates.
Okay. Any further comments from the board members in the audience? The next meeting is going to be December 8th. Wednesday, December 8th, 6 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
In a second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.